matter this morning? Any change?
Change? Yeah. Big change.
A little while back, we had a visit from our friend Sam Raimi. He weighed in with the Evil Dead trilogy. Now it's time for another trilogy to make itself known, and it's the Spider-Man trilogy dating back to 2002, stretching to 2007. These are the Sam Raimi pictures. It's number 36 in our greatest films of all time list.
A lot of people aren't going to be happy to see Spider-Man 3 on this list.
Never wound what you can't kill.
So we can kind of ignore that one for a little while, although Thomas Hayden Church was terrific as Sandman. It's just too bad that the studio forced Raimi to throw in all of these other characters into this thing. But Spider-Man 1 was a fantastic piece of movie making. Casting Tobey Maguire was a little bit controversial, but he actually turned out to be a pretty decent Peter Parker.
Wow, great reflexes.
And right from those opening title sequences in Spider-Man 1, where we've got Alex Ross kind of drawing and painting all of the Spider-Man mythos before our eyes, we knew we were in for something special. And that origin movie actually turned out to be pretty damn decent.
Yeah. You mess with Spidey, you mess with New York! You mess with one of us, you mess with all of us!
Raimi got me interested in Spider-Man because I feel like I've been a champion of this guy's career ever since 1981's Evil Dead. It's almost like local boy makes good, you know? Here he is, he's the big time, he's got the big budget, he's got all the stars, he's got all the money, he's got all the special effects.
You wanted the Sam Raimi quirk, though, right? You wanted the personality, and that's in there.
There's a little bit of that.
There is.
Not enough for my taste. There is a little Bruce Campbell.
Well, Campbell names him in the first movie, and then he's got a nice cameo in the second movie.
I have to see this show. You just let me in, I'll stand in the...
But I think it's the second movie that's the best one of the three, and it also has the best Sam Raimi kind of tone, I think, in this movie.
It rides up in the crotch a little bit, too.
They did an amazing job with the visual effects. They made us believe a man could swing, which was pretty hard to do. But I think where this thing just elevated beyond all expectations was when Dr. Octopus and Spider-Man were battling all over the elevated train and on buildings, and Aunt May is being held in one of the tentacles. That whole sequence was breathtaking. Fantastic work, and some of the best superhero on-film stuff I'd ever seen. So expectations were huge for Spider-Man 3, but then we got Tobey Maguire in this kind of goth makeup thing, and he's doing some song and dance routine, and we had a weird-looking Venom in that movie, and then we had extreme Hobgoblin. It should have been a fantastic swan song for Raimi.
But I think Raimi was probably tired. They work on these things for years.
I think we got some greed on a bunch of different parts.
Yeah. Ooh, my spider sense is tingling. If you know what I'm talking about.
Sony will never stop making Spider-Man movies. You can bet on that.
I think that only dilutes the value of the good ones. All this Spider-Man talk makes me want to take a look back at all the times Spider-Man trilogy has been in the show.
Spider sense is tingling.
In the summer of 2002, the superhero movie as we know it was created with Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, one of the biggest hits of the early 2000s. Mary, I have always loved this Spider-Man movie. I wanted it so bad. I didn't even realize it back in the time, you know?
Didn't know he wanted it.
I didn't know I wanted somebody to take it seriously again.
Spider-Man 2, also directed by Sam Raimi, also starring Tobey Maguire as the man himself.
I think Spider-Man 2 is in the top 3 best superhero movies of all time.
Wow.
I think it is absolutely...
You really liked it?
I think it's wonderful.
I think it's way better than the first one.
You know what, the first one is bogged down with sort of origin stories where, you know, you don't even get to like the Green Goblin stuff until halfway through the first one.
Yeah, you already are so like not invested
already,
in that.
Yeah, with number 2, they get to tell the story they really want to tell. Spider-Man 3.
Oh, look, it's Spider-Man! Wow!
The hard thing for me about this movie is that the cat's out of the bag and there's no intrigue anymore.
Yeah.
Spider-Man is Peter Parker. Peter Parker is Spider-Man. Everybody knows, well, not everyone, but a lot of people know. And it's just kind of like, well, now what?
Let's hope that Amazing Spider-Man 2 lives up to these. Until then, these are very hard to top. Coming in at number 36, it's Sam Raimi's Spider-Man trilogy.